college football at Fox Sports. Joe Klatt joining us. He's got Michigan, Ohio State this week. I mean, you don't get, even as great as those programs are, you don't get a lot of undefeated versus undefeated Buckeyes and Wolverines.
And by the way, I think that we should probably, really appreciate this. I don't know how often that this is going to happen in the future, meaning with these types of stakes, because of the changing landscape of college football. Like, let's say the Big Ten does away with divisions where Michigan and Ohio State could play in the Big Ten championship game. Well, then this game loses the stakes that it has. Or let's say the college football change and expands like it will in the coming years, and we just think, hey, both of these teams will be in the playoff. This game means everything this Saturday, and both at 11-0. I'm just going to appreciate this one for what it is.
All right, Blake Corum. I like Michigan all year. I had him in the last several weeks, number one. They are not the same team without a healthy Blake Corum.
Nope. Not even close, actually.
Not close.
Corum is a fabulous running back, and when he went down against Illinois, they took a drastic turn. Now, his normal backup, Donovan Edwards, is a very good player, and when Donovan is out there, they don't miss Corum as much. Now, they still miss him, but not as much. But with Edwards and Corum not on the field against Illinois, Colin, it was drastic how much different that they were. Let me just give you some numbers to bear that out. This is a team that is one of the best rushing teams in the country, and I'll give you the fact that Illinois is a good defense, but CJ Stokes and Isaiah Gash averaged 3 yards per carry in the second half. Like, they're not going to beat Ohio State unless Corum or Edwards is healthy and ready to go. Yep. And so that's the biggest question of the game right now and of the week is, are those guys going to be ready and available and ready to threaten the defense?
Okay, Bryce Young, to me, is a plug-and-play guy in the NFL. Caleb Williams next year will be a number one pick. The year after that, there's a kid at Carolina, May, who are great. CJ Stroud, to me, has talent. I don't think he's necessarily an elevator all the time. He's hit and miss. He loses confidence. The offense can be I watch him, and I think it just depends on the half I see Ohio State. I see a lot of bad halves with him.
No, I disagree. I think he's perfectly suited for that offense. I think that he does a lot of things really well. He's got a strong arm. His feet are as good as anybody in college football. Now, he might not threaten the defense like Williams does outside of the pocket, Caleb Williams, but his ability to throw in rhythm and on target allows them to create explosive plays because of the YAC, the yards after the catch. It's a simple equation when it comes to YAC. Timing plus ball. By the way, Bill, this is an old Bill Walsh thing, right? Timing plus ball placement equals yards after the catch. And yes, the wide receiver has to be athletic and create space and do all of those things. But when you watch CJ Stroud play, part of what makes Ohio State so dangerous is the fact that the ball is on time and on target, that the wide receivers can run through it and into spots where they can create after the catch. So his ability is a bit more nuanced, which is why I anticipate. Nuanced. Yeah, that's right. So it's harder for you to see, easier for someone like me to see. Oh, although, listen, I'm thankful for guys like you, because it allows me, the opportunity to come and teach. Yeah. And that's certainly.
Trevor Burbick had a nuanced knockout punch. Mike Tyson had a knockout punch. I'm sorry. I tend to like a knockout punch, not nuance around the fringes. But, hey, it's just me.
The best battery in college football is Stroud, Marvin Harrison Jr.
Well, Marvin Harrison's about 70% of that.
Well, I mean, can you say that about any wide receiver quarterback?
No.
The wide receiver is never 70% of it. He's never even 50% of it. Okay? And while Marvin Harrison Jr. is a fabulous player, Stroud's really good. By the way, if Williams loses to Notre Dame, then the Heisman is Stroud's to lose.
We know who the better quarterback is there.
Maybe, but that doesn't mean that's who the Heisman is going to go to.
Nuance. Let's talk. So I think this is a danger spot. I will say this.
For who? For what?
Notre Dame fans, I'm getting a lot of buddies texting me with a clover leaf because they're surging. They play the kind of football. It's got a little Michigan feel to it. They're going to pound right at you.
Yeah, good running game.
That is not what USC defends well.
Nope.
The Trojans coming off a wildly biggest win in 8 years for the program.
Yep.
This feels like, to me, this is a last play of the game.
Yeah, this one's going to come down. Listen, if Notre Dame has the ability to run away with this game, and if USC is going to win, it's going to be close. Let me just give you some background on this game. This is how much better Notre Dame. Notre Dame is not the team that lost to Marshall and Stanford. They've gotten so much better. In 6 of their last 8 games, they've run the ball for over 200 yards.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, so they can get the job done. In their first 6 games of the season.
Total ball control, keep it away from USC.
In their first 6 games of the season, Colin, they were averaging 24 points per game. Not great, obviously, right? And that's why they were struggling. Do you know in their last 5, they're averaging 40 a game? Notre Dame is 40 a game. Okay, so their offense can score points now running the football, and they're physical, and they're unapologetic about the way that they're going to attack you with multiple tight ends on the field, and they're going to come in and they're going to extra gap you to death. And then there's this other element of Notre Dame's team that matches up really favorably against USC, and that's their pass defense. Notre Dame's pass defense is 16th in the country, okay? In the last 4 games, they've had 8 interceptions and given up only 5 passing touchdowns. Do you know the last time Caleb Williams faced a passing defense that was as good as this Notre Dame passing defense? Do you remember when it was? Do you know when it was?
Oregon State.
No. Iowa State last year. Do you know what Caleb Williams' line was in the Iowa State game last year?
I did not watch that particular game.
8 of 18, that's 44% for 87 yards and a pick. So he's going to be facing the best pass defense since that day. Same head coach, same system. Now, granted, he's better than what he was late last year, but there might be some scar tissue there. And there's one thing I know about Caleb Williams, and it's that he will be and get frustrated at times. Part of that is born out of his supreme confidence that he's always going to be able to make a play, and generally he does because he's fabulous. And by the way, I do think he is the best player in college football. The last 5 games have cemented that for me in the way that he plays and what he means to his team. Having said that, his frustration in this game, he better keep to a minimum because there will be moments when they don't succeed on offense because of what I'm telling you. And they might have way fewer bites at the apple than what they normally do. Let's say they average 14 possessions.
They'll get 9.
They'll get maybe 9, 10 because of that run game for Notre Dame. So they better play efficient, and he better make those throws when they appear because there's no getting out of jail free card. This is not going to be like UCLA where you can go down first 2 series of the game, not get touchdowns, not get points in the red zone, and then still come back and win.
All right, can we throw up the college football rankings? I didn't have a problem with them.
Of course you didn't.
Well, I'm a guy that doesn't have a problem saying the truth. And so I got no problem.
Interesting. I think you're a guy that, like the committee, just bases all of this off preconceived notions. So this is what the playoff committee gave
what
us.
do you got a problem? What bothers you?
Don't you? You just wait and see. I'll give you exactly what I got a problem with. Georgia, Ohio State, Michigan, TCU, LSU at 5. USC at 6, Alabama, Clemson, Oregon, and Tennessee. That's what the committee gave us as the top 10. Now, I think that there is a clear oversight here. And I will start with this. The committee, as it's constructed, is a failed experiment.
Oh, come on now.
It is. It is. And I know that because they do not allow the games on the field to alter their preconceived biases and notions.
Okay, like how?
Because every week it doesn't matter the opponent or what goes on the field.
Give me an example.
They just move up a spot and always the same position. The example is that over the last 2 weeks, after LSU beat Alabama and was put above USC, then over the last 2 weeks they've just moved like that sequentially, right? LSU 1 spot above USC. Well, I'm sorry, did we not see LSU go on the road to an Arkansas team who had just lost to Liberty and was playing their backup and actually had their third-string quarterback take snaps in that game, and LSU won by 3? Did we not see that? Because I did. Did we not see LSU play UAB last week? Because I did. In the meantime, USC was out there without some of their best players as Addison was banged up and trying to get healthy. They smoked Colorado. And I know that that's not a great win, and I'll give you that.
But they smoked them.
But they smoked them. Exactly what they should do. They smoked them. It wasn't roll into Arkansas and win by 3 and, it was cold. We had to have hot chocolate. Give me a break. Then they went out last week, went on the road, USC did, and beat UCLA. And that's a good team. UCLA team. That's a capable UCLA team that has 2 top 25 wins based on what the committee has been telling us, Washington and Utah. And yet, they don't get any credit for that?
Well,
I don't understand this. By the way, Alabama just continues to move up ahead of Clemson. And didn't we just see them play Austin Peay? I'm sorry. Austin Peay, not only did they play him in November, but they only won 34-0. If Alabama beats Austin Peay, sorry, I'm getting all frustrated here. Beats Austin Peay 34-0 in September, the sky is falling.
Yeah.
If they don't beat them by 57 points, the sky is falling. But in November, it's totally fine.
Yeah.
And we can just allow it to happen. Why? Our preconceived notions. And that's where it gets me to my last point. Alabama is the preeminent program in the country. Nick Saban is the best college football coach that I've ever seen, and I think that has ever lived. And this program is doing something that we will never see before. But that's not what we're ranking right now.
Yeah.
We're ranking this version of Alabama.
All right. But
Alabama is great. And in 2020, they won the national championship. And guess how many one-possession games they played in 2020? One.
Yeah.
Guess why? They were a great team. It's not this year's team. Guess how many one-possession games they've played this season?
5.
Yeah. And they've only played 8 Power 5 games up to this point. We're not even to the Iron Bowl. They've played 5 one-possession games. They're 3-2 in those 5 games. So aren't we basing these wins against Alabama and viewing them as if they're beating the great Alabama teams when Alabama this year is just not what they have been? No. Again, Bama fans, don't come after me because you are the preeminent program in the country.
Right.
Greatest coach of all time. But that's not the team you have this year. So now all of a sudden, patient X is Alabama, and everybody is getting jumps off of that. And the preconceived bias of what we thought Bama was to begin the year as the largest betting favorite to ever come into a college football season is now affecting how teams are ranked in November. And that's a problem. Yeah. And that, my friend, is the nuance to why the committee is a failed experiment.
That feels harsh, but good explaining there. You did some excellent explaining.
Thank you.
Let's look at Klatt's top 10.
Here's my top 10.
I don't have a problem with it. I think Georgia's the best team, and everybody else is close. I think Ohio State's probably the second best team. I think you put a little heat on CJ Stroud. I don't think. I think I've said this. If Corum was healthy,
let me ask you
I think
this.
Michigan beats them.
Let me ask you this. People have said, like, Klatt, well, why do you care so much about these rankings? And this year, maybe even more so than others.
Yeah.
I don't think there's a great team. Like any given day.
No, I saw Georgia struggle against Missouri.
Exactly.
And Kentucky.
So this season, that's what we're supposed to be ranking. That's what we're supposed to be competing for is this championship.
Yeah.
And this season, it matters who gets that 4th spot. I don't think that now. Georgia may blow out the 4th place team. They may lose to LSU. I'm not sure, but I will tell you this: these spots this year, because there isn't a great team, more coveted than ever before. This is not the last 4 years. Remember, we had Trevor Lawrence. That was a great Clemson team. Then we had Joe Burrow. That was a great LSU team. Then we had the COVID Bama team. They were fantastic. Last year, we had the 6 draft picks off of that defense for Georgia.
Yeah.
We don't have a team of that caliber this year.
I think Georgia's got a really high ceiling, and Ohio State has a high ceiling. But they both struggled. Again, I mean, Maryland gave Ohio State for a long time major issues.
Both of them, I think, have a lower floor than maybe what some of those great teams in the last 4 years have had.
Let's circle back. We got a couple of minutes left.
Okay, here we go.
I'm going to hold you to this.
Please.
Because a lot of times you're just, you're straddling stuff. I'm demanding an opinion here.
Okay.
Because you're not calling this game. You're calling the big one. It sounds like you got Notre Dame beating USC.
I think Notre Dame wins.
Woo!
I think Notre Dame wins.
I will tell you this.
Football is a game of matchups, and this is a bad matchup for USC. And I love Caleb Williams, and I love what USC is doing. That's not a great matchup.
No.
If UCLA would have stuck to the run game late in each half when they had timeouts and had the ability to stick to the run game, they probably don't throw those picks. They probably win the game. So, guess what Notre Dame is going to do? Stick to the run game. And that's a problem for USC, so I'm going to go with the Irish.
The best bet on the board in college football is Notre Dame plus 6.5. It's the side. Now, look, J-Mac, is it 5 now?
Is it going down? It's got to be going down, right?
I think
I bet you it gets to 5 by Saturday.
Listen, if you go look at the history of biggest win in 8 years for a program, I don't care what program it is, the following week for 20-year-old kids, it's hard to.
Yes.
Lou Holtz used to say, you get a different team every week. USC, the city was just everybody that's USC. Everybody was biting nails all weekend. Oh my God. All right, match it the following weekend against arguably a better team.
And it is hard to sustain your best time and time again. This is why the cupcakes in November are such a big problem, right? Ask LSU and Georgia how tough it is to play your best every single week. That's why Tennessee. That's why they just got 63 put on them. 63.
I know.
By South Carolina, because they have to play a league game every week.
You know who can bring it every week?
Me. Thank you. I appreciate that. Were you going to do? Oh,
no,
I was going to jump you. I appreciate that.
Yeah,
I'm really thankful for this show, by the way. In all seriousness, on Thanksgiving week, you guys have a phenomenal show. I appreciate the way that you've always treated me and bringing me on and having our great college football banter, and I appreciate your listeners. And yes, I do enjoy coming on here and absolutely destroying Colin every week. So when you come up to me in the airports and at the games and say that, I agree, and I'm thankful for you too.
I mean, it has to be said that a part of my treating you that way is contractual. So
that's so good.
Michigan,
that's so good.
Michigan, Ohio State, Joel Klatt. I cannot wait for. I'm going to take Ohio all year. I thought Blake Corum. They were gonna take the air out of Ohio State's offense. If you don't give me him at 100, I got to go Buckeyes. Good game though. Good game.
Happy Thanksgiving, bud.
Happy Thanksgiving
J-Mac,
to
happy
you
Thanksgiving, bud.
Hi everybody. Thanks for watching. Subscribe here to get the latest from the show. Also, be sure to check out more of the best clips from The Herd or go watch a few segments from other shows on FS1.